Hello, my name is Ismirlian and I'm the Conveying Product Engineer here at Novatec. Today I'm here to talk to you about your central dust collection system. Central dust collecting is crucial to protecting your central vacuum pumps. When you're conveying plastic material, there's always a chance that there's dust going to be created or it is inherently filled with dust, like if you're dealing with regrinds or other materials. So you want to make sure that your pump is well protected. It may have a safety filter on it, but that is a cartridge filter. Like if you're dealing with a Novatec pump, it's down to about 2 micron. Once that gets clogged, your pump is starving. It is trying to pull air. Your stations are trying to pull for material and they're not going to be able to because you're not having the full vacuum capability of your pump. What a central dust collector will do is help minimize the maintenance you have to do to that actual safety filter and have a larger space to collect and capture that larger particulate into an alternative location so that you could service it more readily. We have 2 offerings for you in 2 variants, and right now the ones behind me are 1 variant. We have our CDC, or Central Dust Collector, and we have our FDC, our Filtered Dust Collector. The 2 behind me are what we call our see-through, our STs, which have a clear bucket located at the bottom of each product. This is where you're collecting that dust. Now, the way that dust is collected is through different separation mechanisms. The Cyclone Dust Collector separates it via a cyclone. So you're pulling air in from your inlet on the tube, allowing it to expand into this chamber and separate the material from the airstream while the air is pulled right back out through the top. So as long as your pump is within the proper CFM performance level, the right size cyclone will allow you to do that without significant carryover. Now that material will get collected and discharged into a larger chamber where the air has more room to expand and drop that material. Now at the bottom, as you can see, we have this clear bucket, which we have a fill level. This fill level is where you're going to want to empty it. And all you have to do is allow it while your pump is in idle, or when you're servicing your pump, to pull the bucket from it by undoing 3 latches, slide it out, empty it out, put it back in, you're good to go. And that's the same that can be said for the FDC. You have the same bucket, same fill level, except in this case you have this big body here with blowback functionality. And that's because this is our filtered dust collector. Instead of using cyclonic technology to separate, you're using a physical filter barrier to filter out certain particle sizes from your airstream. We are using a tangential inlet to allow that air to come in somewhat of a cyclic fashion, but we have a physical barrier, 3 cartridge filters in this particular unit that are rated down to 1 micron. And now we typically do that for really fine dust. It's a greater filtration capability than our 2 micron in our standard pumps. And that just gives you a complete physical barrier, completely separating the pump from the system. Now the benefit with this particular unit with these cartridge filters is that these cartridge filters are actually washable. They're PTFE coated washable filters, unlike the paper one that's typically found in your vacuum pump. So you can reuse these. So we're more than willing to allow these to collect dust and then you can clean them off. However, unlike the pump, you don't have pulse blowback. Pulse blowback will actually extend the maintenance interval in between standard intervals so that these filters can last longer than if you just ran your safety filter. Your filter maintenance versus your bucket emptying may differ. I would suspect that your clear bucket will be emptied more frequently than you would have to do on the filters here themselves because you have the blowback to extend those maintenance intervals. Now, I talked about the ST versions, the see-through buckets. Now, if you have high volumes of dust that you are dealing with, extremely dusty materials all the time, or you have certain parts of your system that will generate a lot of dust, and you can't be emptying this bucket every hour, we have an alternative in the same function with either a cyclone or a filtered dust collector. We call this our -D or drum dump. This actually raises both filter mechanisms higher off the ground with a physical dump flapper similar to what you would find on a vacuum receiver. Below that dump flapper, you can position a 55-gallon drum, and there's even some versions where we can even do gaylords as well. Now, this gives you greater capability of dust collection, but also eliminates the need for you to actually physically empty the chamber. You just have to worry about the drum underneath. And that's because with a drum dump situation, whenever the pump goes into a vacuum idle state, there's a special solenoid that's either on the base of the Cyclone or the base of the FDC that evacuates the vacuum quickly from that chamber and allows the material that collected on that dump flapper to open and discharge into those drums. Now, these are some of the options you have for your central dust collection system. There is another alternative that actually utilizes a pump filter assembly and allows you to connect it in line with the system and can be used in conjunction with your CDC or your FDC, just for an extra section of protection. This would be a 2 micron, or we can even offer with a 10 micron if you want it further upstream. Dust collection is critical to your system, and you should always consider it whenever installing a new vacuum pump, or even if you have an existing pump that hasn't had it before. It is great in order to extend maintenance intervals on your actual pump filter and to further protect it to extend the service interval of your system. Now, if you would like more information on these dust collectors, the ST, the -Ds, or even that cartridge filter, you can go and ask your local representative. You can reach out to one of our internal sales representatives here at Novatec, or go to our website at www.novatec.com for more information, data sheets, and more. Thanks for watching.